Hello and welcome every one of you to our Optosys webinar. Today we'll take a look at the version 2.0.43 of Optosys that have been available for the mid-December, I would say. It's still available, of course, for download at the moment. It added a lot of new features and I'll be very eager and happy to show it to you today. So once again, welcome and thank you to participate in such big numbers to our webinars. I know you like them, and we love to do them too. So I'll be assisted today with by my colleague Marc-André. Marc-André, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Eric?
I'm very good. It's sunny here in Montreal. I'm sure it's very sunny from St. John, Newfoundland. I see some participants to Victoria, BC. So hopefully it's sunny in there too. So yes, so today we'll take a look at a lot of enhancement that we added to the version 43 of Optosys. So we have a good full hours, for 1 hour full in front of us, sorry, and we'll be able to actually take a look at everything in details. So let's start all together. So of course, we're actually going to take a look at the version 43. My name is Éric Lemire. I'm the Optosys team leader, and I'll be assisted, like I said, with my implementation specialist colleague, Marc-André Morin. So today, Marc-André, I think that we'll be able to record that webinar for future viewing and for other participants if they were not available today. Is that right?
Absolutely. So after the webinar, most likely tomorrow, this webinar will be available on YouTube for you to watch again, rewatch sections we may have gone over a little too quickly, or share this with all your staff and to rewatch, of course. And while you're on our YouTube page, please take that opportunity to subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of content. We have a lot of webinars, a lot of trainings, advanced trainings, and we are keeping on adding content as we go. And if you're subscribed, you will always get updates on our latest videos. So thank you for subscribing. And in the past couple of months, we have more than 100 subscribers. So again, thank you for that if you are part of those.
Yes, thank you very much. If you subscribe, it's to your advantage. And of course, we love sharing the knowledge with you so you can use Optosys in the most optimized way possible. Thank you very much, Marc-André. During that webinar, I think our attendant will be able to ask a question. How would they do so, please, Marc-André?
Absolutely. So if you look in your webinar settings, there will be a little arrow and a label that says questions. You'll be able to open that up and ask your question. And if you do that, I'll be able to sneak your question in while Eric proceeds with the change history, and hopefully we'll have we'll be able to answer your question and share with the whole team here.
Yeah, exactly. So please stop me, Marc-André, if we have any questions. Sometimes I tend to go too fast, so you'll be able to stop me talking if you wanted to. Thank you very much. So that's for the question. Now, in order to know more about our participants, Marc-André, we have two short polls. So I would like you to start the first one for our attendees to respond so we can know a little bit more about them.
Perfect. So here goes. First question. How long have you been using Optosys? So you could answer the questions by clicking on the little dots. So is it less than 1 year, between 1 and 3 years, or more than 3 years, or even more, 10 years?
Oh, and let's see. So here we want to see if we're talking more to beginners using Optosys or experienced users. And of course, I'll try to adapt my presentation accordingly. So don't be shy. I think we have a lot of votes in, Marc-André. What's the result? Can you show us?
Yeah, so let's take a look at the result on the screen. And we've got, wow, so we've got quite a lot of results between 1 and 3 years. So that's great news.
Exactly. So that's good because that means that those new users are interested in the new features. So that means also that we know pretty much where to go in Optosys, but today we'll take a look at a different step where we'll be able to see all the nice features that you'll be able to integrate into your day-to-day in Optosys, not going too far, of course, into the details. Very good. Thank you very much, Marc-André. And we have a second one that will also help us know a bit more about our attendees.
Absolutely. Let's go the second question here. So which version of Optosys are you currently using? So first option, version 43, Is it version 42, a previous version, or we don't know? And don't be shy if you don't know. It's not unlikely that you know your version. You could see your version on Optosys at the very bottom if you look closely enough.
Very good. So yes, don't be shy to answer this little a poll, because it will allow me to know if you actually already maybe have version 43 and you already know some of the changes that was immediate when you did the update, or you're looking to know what's going to come when you actually do the update.
Perfect. So I think that's most of you. So let's go ahead and share this.
Super. So most of you are in version 43, so you're looking to optimize your use of that new version, and you see, I'm sure there's a lot you didn't see yet that I'll be able to give you in terms of information. For the one, there's a lot of you in 42, so then of course you'll be able to benefit from all those little changes as soon as you update to version 43. For the one, our previous version, yes, you can, and of course I would like you to update to version 43, but even more so, take a look into the history of all the change of version history into the web page, because you might actually benefit from the change history of previous version. And Marc-André, I think we do have a webinar from version 42 on our YouTube channel. Is that right?
Absolutely. So I do believe we'll be doing webinars from now on for our big versions, right, Eric?
Yes, there's so much happening with Optosys every time when when we roll out a big update like this one. I think that those webinars have a lot of value because there's so much changes, and Optosys actually goes very quickly and answering all the requests from our users in the industry. And for the one of you
Absolutely.
who don't know, well, just when you go back at the office, if you're not in front of Optosys right now, you'll be able to take a look and see if you have those changes that we're talking about today or not. So if you're in 43 or not. Well, thank you very much for your participation, everyone. I hope that you learned, like me, a lot about your colleague that will participate in that little webinar together. So today, we're going to see some highlights. Of course, there's going to be more than that we're going to see today, but those will be the highlights. So a lot of it, pretty much half of that webinar, will be dedicated to the contact lens enhancement that we added to Optosys in version 43. But there's a lot of changes, and also the added catalog. I'll give you a spoiler right away. So it's Bosch and Lomb, the supplier of contact lenses, that we have the first one to be integrated in Optosys. Cooper will come in the next couple of weeks or so, so it's going to be very fast. And then during the course of the year, Johnson & Johnson and Alcon will also come up as catalog of products that not only you'll be able to download and keep maintain updated, but of course you'll be able to actually send those lenses or orders directly to those main suppliers in the country, like maybe you already do for your optic lenses. So that's a very big win that we added to 43. In order to encompass all those suppliers and those new features, we needed to actually make some changes to the contact lens sections in Optosys. And of course, we use that opportunity to clean it up a little to make it easier to work with. We also added a new feature where we can email the hard-coded RX in the RX tab. So if you don't use your own mail merge for the RX, which of course have been available for emailing since the beginning, if you actually using the hard-coded version, it's now possible to email it to the patient. We can lock now a letter in Optosys. So of course we were able to lock exam before, but now we'll be able to do the same with letters. We actually made some enhancement in the text messages. Text messages have been there since version 42. A lot of you actually used it, I'm sure. But if you want, you can actually use the templates now with the version 43. We added some new Thales insurance company, made some enhancement there too, and of course added other ophthalmic equipment integrated with your electronic examination or EMR. So let's dig into the contact lens. To do so, we'll actually take a look at the change history that we found in Optosys. So just to tell you where it is, every time once you made the update to whatever version, please go into the help menu of Optosys from any workstation where Optosys is installed and take a look at the change history. The change history is really a list of everything you'll be able to benefit from your update. In this case, the enhancement was so long that we just put the highlights at the beginning. Sorry for that. And we actually put the actual document at the bottom where it says view the detailed change history at the bottom. So if you do so, you'll get to the actual change history document, which is a PDF version of it. So I'll show you to you right now. There it is. So we divided all the new features and optimization to their proper modules. So that's why we have some contact lens features and optimizations. So you'll be able to actually see everything in a summary kind of reading. And we have the actual document where we actually explain all the details about those enhancements. The first one we'll take a look at is the contact lens. It might seem very simple right now because it's only 4 or 5 lines of it, but please click on the following document link on the 3rd line. So that's going to open up another document. It's just that there was so much changes to detail in here that we decided to actually do 2 documents, so it's just easier to read and to understand. So if you click on the link, you'll be forwarded to our contact lens highlights in V43 document. And let's dig into it right now. So there's first and foremost 4 new definitions of products that we added to Optosys in order for that contact lens supplier catalog and ordering process to be inserted in the system. So each of those suppliers actually have a design, replacement frequency, and wearing period and material attached to the definition of their lenses. So we're gonna have to integrate them also in Optosys now. So the design is very simple. It's the spherical toric multifocal type of prescription and contact lenses. We also have the replacement frequency, which is the daily, weekly, bi-weekly, so how long the lens is made to last. By the way, some of you might actually use categories of contact lenses to specify that before, but now we have a proper field for it. We also have the wearing period, where we'll be able to specify how long we can keep it in the eye, so daily is extended, continuous, and flexible. And the material is a very simple, rigid or soft option. So those new definitions or descriptions of lenses have been added to the lens description in Optosys. So when you're going to actually create, modify a lens, then you'll be able to actually put in the design, which one is spherical, toric, etc., and replacement frequency, which are both mandatory, being in yellow, as you know. And also we added the field, which is optional, to actually specify the material and the wear. We also added, from your request, the contact lens package pricing feature. So this will allow you to put a price per box, as usual, like it was before. That didn't change. But if you wanted also to have a formula or a unit price, depending on the package. So if you actually do specials, if the patient buys a 6 or 12-month package, you'll be able to specify the value of that price in here that normally would be different than the 1 box price. And Optosys, when you're going to sell a 6-month package or a 12-month package, it will know and will actually put in the right price in those situations. So we can define that at the product level, at the detail level, as we're going to see earlier on, further on, sorry. And also we're going to be able to modify it in the product group management, as you're going to see also later on. Then we also added a new kind of detail. So before, well, version 42 and before that, anterior ones, we only had the without interval option in the details of contact lenses, meaning that we only could put a specific combination of powers and base curve and diameters into those. But now with version 43, we can actually put with interval, just like the ophthalmic lenses. So then in here, if you click on with interval, it will allow you to put a certain minimum and maximum for the range of the possibilities or power of a contact lenses, along with the step value. So the step value is really the increment value possible between the minimum and the maximum. So it's what is important, because contrarily to optic lenses, it's not always an increment of a diopter of 0.25. So here, if your max is minus 6.5 for the sphere and your step is 0.5, that means that minus 6.75 is not available. So you always go from 6.5 to 7 to 7.5 until you reach your minus 12. You can see here also that we added, of course, like I was saying, those price and unit package pricing if you want to do it per detail, because of course one detail can be the trial version of the lens now if you wanted to. And we're going to see later on, but we can already tell you that now we have a number per box, which replaces the unit field that will be used for calculation of that 3, 6, and 12 months package. So depending on how long we want the package to be, it will actually calculate the number per box depending if it's a daily or monthly, etc. And we have also the trial checkboxes or drop-down menu to tell you if it's a trial or not. So we're gonna search for contact lenses, contrarily to what you had in version 42. Now you'll be able to search only for trials if you put that in your box.
Eric, I've got a good question for this window here. So here goes. Can the steps be defined for different ranges? Many lenses have 0.25 steps up to -6, and then 0.50 steps above that.
They're a very good question. You're right, Marc-André. Thank you for asking the question. So here in that case, since we can only define one range per detail, well, then we'll use 2 details. So we'll be able to do a certain details with a step of 0.5 for the lower ones, and we'll be able to create another detail with a step of 0.5 for the higher higher powers. So it's just a matter of creating as much detail as you need to really define what you're looking for. However, please note that when you're going to download a catalog, for example, by Bosch and Lomb, all those steps and base curve values will come into the catalog for you, so you don't have to define them yourself. But you're right, if you wanted to apply that for the Alcon and Bosch and Johnson, and you don't want to wait for the catalog to come in, please go ahead and create your details if you don't have one already, or replace them with the new ones with intervals. Any other good question like this one, Marc-André?
Thank you for asking, Eric. No questions for now. Please don't be shy to ask your questions using the questions box, and we'll be able to answer you on the spot.
Yeah, we love to hear from your questions. And then, of course, we still have the contact lens with details. This one didn't change much because it was always there. However, like the previous one, we added also the notion of the package pricing along with trials and per box information and so forth. We also, well, like you saw, added a per box notion. So right now, if you update to version 43, or if you have updated, you'll be able to see there's already values that was inserted at the update into those. So you have the 1 lens, 180 lenses, 35, 6, and 90 lenses option already in there. If you wanted to add more, you can add more if you wanted to from the admin product, contact lenses, and number per box. However, between you and me, I think that those options will suffice, at least for the ordering and for the catalog. The product search was also modified for contact lenses. So we added the new fields for material, design, replacement frequency, and base curve for your searches. So finally with Optosys, if you wanted to only see your spherical, you only see your dailies, you wanted only to see your base curve at 8.6, you'll now be, or even rigid, you'll be able to actually filter those with those new filter fields in the search of the product. Also a big announcement in the results when you actually click on search or click enter, you'll have a lot more information showing it to you. So right now, before 43, you only had the brand, product, and price. That's what pretty much it. But now we'll have the design, the replacement frequency, the price, the base curve, diameters, the material, the wear, the notes, everything will show up in there. So you'll really be able to actually specify by double clicking on the one that you want, which one, depending on the information that you find here, a little bit like when you're looking for a patient and you'll be able to differentiate patients if they have the same name with their phone numbers and date of birth and so forth. The same apply here now for contact lenses. So a lot more was added now. Also, once we select a product, the detail will actually be sometimes very long because of those catalog of products. So, you know, either it's Bosch & Lomb or Cooper or whichever, there's a lot of different combination of powers available. So when you download those, you'll be able to actually look for them. And if you, in your search, you want to have a specific sphere, put it into your search at the detail level. So you can search by sphere, cylinder, diameter, and Optosys will be able to find the right one for you, and the filter will be added automatically. So as soon as you click and you enter the sphere, well, only the one with that sphere will show up. And if you were too severe with your filters and you've put too much and there's no result, well, then you'll be able then to see by removing some of them one after the other, which one was too severe. So was it because my cylinder was -1 and this was not available in the -1? So you'll be able to actually play around with those different filters. So talking about the searches, let's actually take a look in Optosys at how that actually works. And for your benefit, I'll start directly from the exam because that's only where the lenses are first selected for a patient. Please note that in the exam, we'll see it later on, you might want or need to modify the exam accordingly into the design to encompass the new fields, but I'll talk about that later on. So here in your, let's say, trial section of your contact lenses, you'll be able to put in your sphere, cylinder, and axis. And right now, if I wanted to know what type of lenses are available with those characteristics, I can click on my 3 dots, search for lenses, and Optosys will actually understand my RX, know that it's a historic lens, and when I'm going to actually search for my Bosch & Lomb lenses, so I use a free text, but you could actually also use a supplier drop-down menu, it will only give me the lenses that are available in that specific RX. We filter in the RX for you, so don't have the hundreds of availabilities and then you have to search for it. We already pre-filter it for you. And then when you're happy with the BioTrue 1 day, in this case, double click on it. Of course, I don't have an inventory, but if you wanted, you could actually add the inventory if you wanted to. And voila, you have the right lenses with the right RX. And I'm going to actually use my little copy OD2OS button to copy it when I have to search it twice. And then from here, it's going to be an easy export button action to export it directly to the patient file. And then I'll be able to work with that. So in the patient, as you know, it's in the RX tab that I'll be able to see at the bottom all my contact lens RX. I'll be able to double click on that RX. I can still modify it if I wanted to, but as you see, my base curve, my diameter is all there, even if I never input it, because it goes with the lenses that I selected for that patient. So my assistant just need to maybe put their names if that is one of your default values, put in the quantity, or even better, select the duration. So if we're looking to sell a 12-month package, Optosys will automatically calculate it. So of course I selected a trial, which only 5 lenses per box. So I'll need a lot of boxes to arrive to that 12-month package, but you can see what I meant. So if I was into a product that had, let's say, 90 lens per box, then I would actually need 4 boxes per eye, and that's it. So Optosys do that calculation automatically for you. Allows you to, as usual, put in the solution, but now we also added the shipping fee if you wanted to add such a shipping fee. And now with Bosch & Lomb, if you register to our Optosys catalog option, you'll be able to order those Bosch & Lomb contact lenses directly from Optosys, exactly the same principle that applies for the ophthalmic lenses, where it goes directly from your system to their system, call it B2B fashion. And here, what I also like is that you don't have to send it to yourself. You can even send it to another company if you wanted to, if you're centralized ordering in your group, or you can also send it to the patient. And by the way, if you did select the shipping fee before, it will actually select deliver to patients automatically for you. For the shipping address, you're also going to have the option to send it to the patient's address, obviously. You'll be able to send it to any other new address. If you want to send it to work office or maybe the cottage, we'll be able to send it to the primary's address or any other previous address that we use for the patient. So if we already sent it to the cottage last month, we can send it again to the same address without having to retype it. If you are talking to your patient and you just realize that the address of the patient changed since the last time you talked to the patient, you can modify the address here. And here the magic is that the change of address that you'll apply here will also save into the patient file. So you don't have to remember the address and change the patient file afterwards. Everything will be done at once. So yes, so at the bottom you see your ubiquitous send and print little shopping cart option where the order will be sent directly to the Bosch and Lomb company. So the order will be done. So you don't need to actually go on the Bosch and Lomb website. Very good. Do we have any questions, Marc-André?
Thank you for asking, Eric. No questions so far. Again, don't hesitate to ask your questions, and we'll be more than happy to chat about questions about this very complex additions to Optosys, right, Eric?
It's complex, but I hope that everybody will be able to benefit from it because there were a lot of things that maybe we could enhance, and I think we did a lot of enhancements here. So thank
Absolutely.
you. You're right. So yes, so in order to price those lenses that either we download or we redefine or we added in Optosys, you pretty much all know your product group management option into the admin menu, where it serves for you to actually price your products, but also activate or deactivate them. So in here, if you want to affect your contact lenses, sorry, once you select your product type contact lenses, you'll be able to specify the unit pricing. And that's where you'll be able to benefit the standard, which is the one box package, the 3, 6, and 12 months package. And depending on which one you select, and then you click on search, it will affect either the normal price column, the 3-month column for the price, 6 months and 12 months, etc., etc. So that's where you'll be able to set your prices. I would strongly recommend to create those formula for the 3, 6, and 12 month packages in advance. And once again, the admin menu. So you'll be able to affect those products with predefined formulas. It's a lot better and a lot faster to create your retail prices afterwards once you have those profit margins. In the RX itself, I already went into the RX very, very quickly, but I'm going to stay here for now because everything is highlighted and it's pretty obvious. So we did some cleanup. So the most experienced of you might be see or saw maybe in my earlier endeavor in the RX that we cleaned up a little in the RX to make your life easier. So first and foremost, before we had base 1 and base 2 for the base curve. Now we only have one, we just call BC for base curve. We also had 2 diameters at horizontal and a vertical. So once again, we cleaned that up, adding only one called diameter, and that's it. And of course, in here, under the duration, that's where we added the calculation for the 3, 6, and 12 months that actually affect the quantity, but also affect the replacement date. The tint and color already been there, so the number per box is actually the old unit, but now it's actually used for something in Optosys. And as you remember, I talked to you about the shipping, where you can actually add a shipping fee in your miscellaneous product, and that shipping fee will be included into your invoice when you click on that invoice button at the bottom. Of course, we also needed to change some of the default values accordingly now that we added new fields. So there's a lot of impact everywhere in the system. So in your invoice, if you had the category showing like a daily, monthly, into the description of a product under the invoicing tab of default values, I will recommend instead to change to the new one, which is replacement frequency. Because when you download the lenses from the suppliers, They don't have any category. The category is no longer mandatory, but the replacement frequency is. So I would recommend you to use it if you want to show on your invoice the monthly, daily information about your lenses.
I have a very good question for you, Eric.
Please.
So has there been an option added to specify contact lens expiration date, similar to how it's done with Spectacle RX? An example, it goes red when expired. Or example, myopia control lenses don't necessarily want a 1-year expiry date.
That's a good question. We don't actually have an expiry date like we do for RX that we have in the optic lenses, but that's a very good idea. Please send us an email with the actual example of like a myopia example that you gave. I think it will be a good thing. Now that we're in a new contact lens, we'll be able to actually better fit it for you. But yeah, that's a very good point. Please share it with us by email. I took down some example, some notes, but yeah, I would like to know more about that idea and how we can actually use it to have maybe, like you said, a red and green color like we have in the Spectacle RX. Absolutely. That's a good point. Any other good questions or recommendations, Marc-André, in the chat?
So far, so good. And if we could add something, contact lens requests here, very important. And as we just started to build this, well, a while back, of course, but we are still looking for ways to improve this, right, Eric?
Absolutely. As you know, as you see, Optosys is always enhancing itself from one version to the other. The goal is to make it as easy as possible to use and as powerful as possible too. Very good. Well, thank you, Marc-André. We also changed one other places in the default values called the report. I don't know if everybody knew that, but in the sales report in Optosys, you had the option in default values to have your contact lens sales divided either by category or by supplier. So now we also added the options to divide it by replacement frequency. Once again, the reason applies here too is that since for most of you, replacement frequency will actually replace category, that's why we added here. So you can actually stop using, not stop using, but disregard the category now and use only the replacement frequency. Of course, you'll need to actually act on those products and define the replacement frequency for those products that you have already in your database that are not downloaded from the supplier. In the exam, like I said previously, we'll need to actually add some new fields in it. So a lot of you already have the add design, which is the high, medium, low option in your previous contact lens, in your trials, in your final contact lens section of your exams, and so forth. So this one is already there. However, the contact lens per box, number per box field will need to be added because I'm sure that a lot of you don't have it already in their exam sections. The tint, same thing there. So the tint needs to be there. However, the trial, just like the ad design, I think that most of you already had that option depending on which section of the exam, but if it's not, please add it there. And as you know, the trial can be checked by default. If, by example, we're in a trial section and we only use it to order trials, so you will be able to add it there. So in the EMR, so to one of you that uses the exam, please make sure that you have those 4 boxes in there. That are set up accordingly in import, export, copy. So you have the number per box, the ad design, the tint, and the trial. So that, because if you don't, actually, it won't export or import correctly to and from the patient file. That's it. We also need a little cleanup of the service plan. So you guys will be able to stop asking me what is our service plan for. They're not there anymore. So at the bottom of the RX tab in Optosys, we had an add service plan section. So it's no longer there in version 43, making more space to see more Spectacle and Optometrist RX along with the contact lens RX and orders in here. And same thing for the product information. There's no longer the warranty or the service plan information attached to the actual product. So those were replaced with the new fields along with the new formulas for 3, 6, and 12-month packages. And for the one-hour use, since we don't use a category anymore, we also use that in the category section. We won't use it anymore, so we just removed it entirely. So as you see, we did a lot of cleanup, but added a lot of new things to actually update the catalog, the products, and the ordering, and the information about our contact lenses as much as possible to make it more current with the industry standard. Do we have any questions, Marc-André, on the list?
Thanks, Eric. No questions so far.
Very good. Thank you very much. So now we just went through those five lines together. So yes, for now only Bausch & Lomb is compatible for the catalog for the contact lenses. By the way, if you want to register and you want that Bausch & Lomb catalog, please go into the What's New section of your Optosys software, and you'll be able to register there for the catalog. And not only the Bausch & Lomb catalog will be there and listed as an option, but as you know now, you can also have catalogs from your main ophthalmic lens labs like Essilor, Nikon, Hoya, and very soon Zeiss. And a lot of frame suppliers too will be there to be downloaded. So you'll be able to register to all of them, so you'll have more to able to download, so you don't have to define your frames every time one by one. Very good. Of course, we added again new equipment available, compatible with Optosys with the EMR from Uvitz and Reichert. We also added some new features on existing equipment compatible, so the LM7 from Nidec, the CV5000 for Opter, Nidec Airco 1, Toner F3, which is all in one. Same thing for the Topcon TRK2P, RK600. So if you have one of those, either new or existing equipment, and you want to benefit from that integration or that enhancement of integration, please call us, or we'll be more than happy to help you out adding those new fields or new integration into your EMR. Still in the EMR, in the letter, we also have the ability now to lock a letter, meaning that as the optometrist creates the letter, the optometrist can just make sure that nobody else than him or herself can modify that letter. So right now, well, before 43, anybody could actually go into a letter and do whatever they wanted. But now with the locking mechanism, which is available through a right click, the doctor can lock it. So only the doctor can unlock it afterwards if you want to do a little change on it. In the inventory sections, for the one of you actually manage inventory and receive product in Optosys, you'll be very happy to know that now the notes that was normally hidden into the reception, so you had to open the reception, is now seen into the grid of all the receptions. So you'll be able to see which one have a note, and you'll be able to read the notes. Of course, if the notes goes further than the actual size that we have in the grid, you'll still be able to double click on it and see the entire note because it's a big note section that we have there, but at least you'll see the start of it.
Eric, I think we lost you for a second there. Your voice sounded very robotic and.
Is it better now?
Yep, you're actually back on.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I was saying that in the inventory section under reception, we do actually show the notes into the grid right now, where we actually normally had only the notes in the reception itself, where you double click on the line. So now you can see it in the grid. So there's no.
I have a very good question for you about letters, about locking letters. So first question is, can you still generate a new letter from an old locked letter?
Yes, absolutely. So you can click on add letter and generate letter from a letter, even if it's locked. But the whole point of locking is not to be able to generate, is to be able to modify, not to be able to modify the original letter. But of course, if you create a new one, yes, of course, you can generate a new one from an old lock one. But you'll see the name of the person who actually, or the person actually was logged in Optosys, who actually did that new letter, if that's what you're looking for.
Perfect. I've got one last question regarding letters here. So if a letter is locked, can a staff member still attach a note, for example, that it's been faxed?
Yes. So if you double click on the letter, I'll show it to you right now in Optosys in the exam tab. So if I right click and I modify my letter, which one is the letter here? You know that in your letters, you can go into the header section of it, and you can actually put the information in here. So in the note, that's the note that will actually show up in the letter notes in here on the line of the actual letter. So that
And
you
I
can
could do
still do if
this
it's
if the
locked.
letter's locked. Yeah, you could do that if it's locked.
Exactly.
I'm learning this now with you as well.
Yeah, so the just like the exam, by the way, in the exam you can still put a note on an exam that it's locked, but you cannot modify the exam itself or the letter itself.
Perfect. Thanks, Eric.
No problem. So going back into my change history document, we also added the ability in Optosys to send the hard-coded RX from the patient file. So in order to make it work, you first need to go in Optosys and in your default values, enable the actual ability. So in default values, the responsible or manager person in the office will need to actually come and click on that send RX by email button. The reason why it's not checked by default is that we want you to take responsibility of adding that to Optosys. You might want to have a talk with your college with that, because we just make sure it complies with the provincial regulations. That's mostly just in case you send the RX to the wrong patient or the wrong email. So that's why we want you to click it yourself before we add that feature in Optosys. But then when you're okay with the whole thing, then in the patient file from the RX tab where we have the medical RX, it means that will allow you to send the RX by email using the email button on the top. The conditions for the emails to be, the RX by email to be sent is, of course, that the patient have an email address, obviously, but also, and that's very important, that you sign or the doctor signs the RX. The signature of that RX, which is digital, of course, it's just a password, happens either in the exam room, in the exam section, or it can happen here into those ones. So if I use one here, which is not signed yet, I can click on Save and Sign, and as a doctor, I can put my password in. And as I put my password in, instead of clicking on OK, I can click on Email. So as soon as I put the password, I can email it right away to the patient or just print it out for the staff to see. And of course, that's going to lock the RX, so nobody else can modify the RX, of course, because it's been signed. And every time I'm going to send it again by email or print it, well, the same signature and the same date will be on it forever. So it's a way also to always have a copy of it available for us for the patient if they need it to. Do we have any questions on that, Marc-André, in the chat?
No questions so far.
Okay. Well, of course, this will allow you maybe, because it's been available for the emailing of the mail merge forever in Optosys, but that will actually enable to send your hard-coded copy. And I hope that will actually make you want to use a hard-coded copy instead of a mail merge, just because there's a lot that will come into Optosys in the future that will be linked to that hard-coded signed RX. One of those features that will come soon is the patient portal, allowing the patient to have their own account linked to Optosys, where the patient will be able to download their own invoices, download their own RX, and even order contact lenses that they already ordered before. So of course, if you don't have a signed RX into the patient file, they won't be able to see it. What else? We do, of course, have security linked to that new RX by email function, so you can make sure that only the responsible person, or depending on the responsibility of the office, of everyone that will have access or not access to do those emails. And of course, you'll need to have a scanned signature for all the doctors so they can put their own password in to sign their RX. Also in the patient file, we enhanced the patient merge function. So you no longer in V43 have to merge the attachments manually. Everything will be merged together automatically. So once again, it's going to be easier from the action menu of Optosys to merge your patients together and faster. For the one of you, and I know there are some of you that do have the Optosys catalog and boutique, so the boutique what it is, it's actually a storefront online that shows your frames that you have in your current inventory to your patients, so they can select some of them before their visit, or they can even actually take an appointment to try those frames on that they selected online. So here we enhance the portal where we can actually specify your featured frame. Featured frame are the one as soon as a patient arrives on your website that are the stars, as let's say, that you want to show first and foremost on the first page before the patient uses filters and goes to other pages to find the frame that they're looking for. So it's like your identity in a way. And we have more optimized lookout so you can actually manage better your online frames. For Optosys, as you know, since version 42, I repeat myself, we allow you to send text messages on demand to your patients. So we enhance a little bit that feature where now we can set templates. So if you go under admin and communication, if you go to SMS subjects in here, you'll be able to define those templates. So if you have, let's say, a template for patient that are waiting in their car to get in the office because either there's too many people in the office or you require the patient to wait in their car until their appointment is actually due for a specific time, then you can actually prepare a template where it says to the patient that they're okay to come in, but to wear a mask and to wash their hands. So you can use a template for that. You can use another template for your contact lenses already. You can use another template to say, we process your order for your glasses again. So you can create as much as you want, and that will actually allow you to actually write a little bit less if you're actually always writing the same thing over and over again. Marc-André, I think that for the SMS, for the text messages, for the one of our attendees that don't know how to use it, is there any way for them to know how to actually set it up in Optosys?
Absolutely. So the best way is to make sure you're in at least version 42, because that's a requirement, and make your way to our YouTube channel, which is Optosys Solutions, where you could also subscribe. And in our channel, if you scroll down the first page, you'll be able to see 2 playlists. So, well, one playlist actually that's important for this is the SMS on demand playlist. This is a how to set up text messages, direct text messages with Optosys for free, by the way, because it's a module that's included with Optosys in version 42. And with this video, you will be able to finally be able to send text to your message, text messages to your patients. I'm getting questions on this in the question section of our webinar, and the first question is, can a patient respond to this message? And the answer to that is no, not for now. For now, patients cannot respond to the one direction text that we send. And next question as well is, are there any plans in the works to offer the same functionality to email for email communications?
Oh, good question. Maybe it's time now to talk about the emails, because yes, we can send messages directly there, but in the communication tab of Optosys, you can create your own template of emails as you wish. And this is actually done through a mail merge. So of course, I would strongly advise anyone who wants to use a template for emailing to call us at the support line. We'll be more than happy to walk you through the process of creating that Word document that will be the same model, the same template that you'll be able to reuse for your patient. So same example I'm going to take this time. If you do have an email you want to send for those COVID patients that are waiting outside, but it's they don't have a cell phone, they just have an email, well, you'll be able to create a mail merge template in Word, once again, asking them to wear a mask and wash their hands when they get in and that we're ready to take them, but that will be actually sent by email using maybe one of those little shortcut icons that we can define in the default values to send very quick email to your patient attached to an actual template that you wish, and you have 3 templates you can work with.
A follow-up question to that that point was an example being able to set up confirmation based on appointment types.
Yeah, same idea here. So if you want to actually send those confirmation, you can run a selection of all your patients of that specific type, let's say full eye exam senior. And once you have a result of all your patients, you can click on one little button and it will be sent to you. We actually do have, once again, we repeat ourselves, but on the YouTube channel, we do have some videos on how to create a selection and how to send the emails with the actual model of the mail merge to your list. Or you can call the support line. We'll be more than happy to help you out and walk you through it.
Thanks, Eric. I believe that answers the question.
Very good. Any other ones, Marc-André?
Well, actually, yes, one just came in for you. So if you have two email addresses in the office, can you specify which one they could respond to? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a very good question, but no. So in a specific company, there's only one email address that will be the reply email address that we'll be able to use for that. Of course, if you have multiple companies, you can have multiple reply address, but in Optosys, there's only
But
one.
the
However,
question is, can you specify which one they can respond? I believe we could do that, right?
well, we can do that within the actual email. We can have a mail to and say, click here to respond. And then, yes, we can actually specify which one we want to send it to. It's just that if they do click on reply instead, well, then we don't have the choice.
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, really good. But please call us at support. We'll be more than happy to help you out for that specific situation once again. So yes, like Marc-André was saying, you can actually hop on our SMS on demand playlist, which is just two very short videos that will show you how to register with our third party called Twilio. That will actually allow you to buy a bank of SMS, which comes very cheap. So I think that for the minimum package is like $20 US, and that gives you like more than 10,000 SMS or something. It's pretty crazy. So of course, the more you're going to buy, the less it is per SMS, but then you can register to whatever you want. And the second video will show you how to set up Optosys with that account that you just bought from Twilio. So yes, you'll be able to use it in Optosys. Very good. So yes, a lot of information once again into that YouTube channel. So please take a look at it. In the agenda, we also added in the search free space the interval to be the same as duration. So you might ask yourself, well, what is he talking about? Well, we're talking about the agenda. There is a little feature here called the search free space. So I know that every one of you is very busy at the moment with everything that's happening. So you have a lot of appointments back to back. So if you want to search for a free space available when the patient wants to get an appointment, that little tool will allow you to specify it's been there forever, specify the days, and the time that the patient is available, and also the duration that you're looking for. So how long is that, a partial for 15 minutes, full exam? So then I'll change it to 30 minutes. And that little duration is synchronized to the lapse of time between your slots in the agenda. So we just made it easier for you to use it. Again, just a little enhancement in Optosys for a nice little tool that we already had. In the exam, you might not all know that, but you can, if you want, select not only contact lenses product from your catalog, but also frames and ophthalmic lenses and miscellaneous product. So for the one of you using the Hoya ophthalmic lenses product, we enhance the product selection to understand or integrate the whole notion of power, which combines the sphere and the cylinder. So that's done in version 43. In the invoice, we have a better now way to apply the tax on the discount. So if you actually do have discount, that the taxes will be understood now, which was not the case before. With TELUS, we added two new insurance companies. Well, TELUS added those companies, but we actually followed with them. They're our partner. So we added DA Townley, and as the 11th of January, We also added the RWAM, Insurance Administrators. We also changed the name of Johnson's Group Insurer. And we added, so if you want to claim for it, gown, mask, shoe covering, face shield. So if you're selling any of those type of items, you'll be able to actually put a code for it and claim directly in TELUS. So maybe if you're doing face shields, you'll be able to do it directly now from Optosys. For those Ontario people, now we do have new EPP and EPS error explanatory codes. So those are codes for your OHIP system for the medical provincial claim system. So we added them, so it's a new thing. And in the task, maybe not everybody knows, we have alerts in Optosys that once again been there, but we added new fields to give you more information. And this one in particular is the field giving you the item number of the price change, because there is an alert every time the price of a product changes. So somebody like a manager can be aware every time somebody change a price of a product, and then they receive a task. And as you know, task can also be sent to any email, so either an office email or a personal email. If you want, you can actually take a look at those alerts in Optosys. If you go once again under Admin, Task, and Alerts, you'll be able to actually take a look at the type of alerts we can see in Optosys. Of course, most of you using the online booking knows that those alerts are automatic, but we have other ones. If you want to activate them, just click on them, activate them, give them a type, which is linked to a group of people, and you'll be able to use it. Do we have any questions, Marc-André, on that change history document?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions here. So free space, can you define this by appointment type?
If I understand correctly, what we're trying to do here is that when we search a free space, we want to put a type of appointment here instead of duration. So yes, it's possible. So if you don't know how long are your examination time for a diabetic full eye exam, let's say, well, then you'll be able to put the actual name in here. And instead of looking for whatever duration you put in, it will actually find a 15 or 30 minutes. However, here the point is not to actually take the appointment right away. It's just to actually know which time will be available or not for that specific doctor or the entire office if I don't put any doctor's name here. And when I click on OK, well, that's when I'll be able to select the right time for my patient to take this appointment, and then I'll be able to define my appointment with the right name and appointment time, or type, I should say. Is there any other good question like this one, Marc-André?
Perfect, thanks, Eric. Yes, not to this subject in particular. I have two questions that may be more of Optosys enhancements. Do you want me to go forward with these questions now, or?
Why not? Why not? Let's go fast.
Perfect. So the first question is in regards to the online boutique, is there anything in the works for customers to do a virtual try-on similar to Fitting Box?
I know there is something in the works, Paul, but we're studying different options for that, but I don't have any ETAs for it right now. But yes, of course, you've been a lot of people asking for that feature for the virtual try-on, like a lot of website does. So we're looking at different solutions for it. Absolutely.
Sounds good, thanks. And I have one other very good question. Why can't patients respond to text messages?
Well, it's just that this, we wanted to give you the access to the text message very quickly. So it will come eventually. We'll actually do have the bi-directional text messages, but for now it's only one way. However, we had some information yesterday from a user actually that in Twilio that set up an automatic reply. So if a patient tries to reply, that will actually have a reply say, oh, please call the office at that number if you want to contact us. So there's ways to circumvent that for now.
Perfect, thank you. And that's it for the questions.
Very good. So thank you, Marc-André, for actually giving us all those questions. So yes, so we went through all the version history documents that you all have, by the way, from your invitation from that webinar. You have a link, but also in your help if you have version 43 of Optosys. So going here, we want to actually give you some information. So brand new from 2021 pricing packages. We do now have the details. So before in Optosys, if you wanted one of those extra modules, it was all à la carte. So you actually had to register and pay for each module separately. Now we actually allow you to put that in bundles. So we have 4 bundles by default. So we have a starter one, which is pretty much everything that's available in Optosys without an extra package. Then we have a premium package that already include for only $149 the booking, the access, the forms, the catalog of products, and even the digital signature in here, along with 2 hours. We also have an elite, which actually also add the boutique, the recall, and 5 hours. And for the one of you that actually uses Optosys the most, we also have the Elite Plus, where we also add the patient portal. That's the one I was talking about, where it allows a patient to log on their own files and download their invoices, RXs, and reorder contact lenses, which is going to come very, very shortly, along with the Vision Store. So if you want to actually put your products online, like contact lenses and miscellaneous products, and 10 hours of support. There's a lot about the digital signature here in all of them. Marc-André, what is digital signature, please?
Thanks, Eric. So digital signage. So what digital signage essentially is a playlist that we put on a device that you connect to your television. Now this device is connected to your Wi-Fi, and we control the content remotely. So on this playlist, we could play videos from all your suppliers that you have. So for example, you want some Ray-Ban ads playing in your waiting room, we could send content like that. But we could also send content like your opening hours, your Facebook page feed, your Instagram feed. We could have the weather play in that playlist as well. So it's a very cool system that we send to you. It's basically plug and play. So you connect it to your TVs and you have the content playing. So if you have a television in your waiting room that's just sitting there, this may be a good opportunity to have some frequently updated content play on your screen.
Exactly. At the same time, entertain your patients waiting for their appointment while they're waiting. So thank you very much, Marc-André, for the details. If you do add one of those packages when you add the contact lens catalog, please know that you also be offered a 1 free hour of support to your bank of hours that you already have. And the same thing if you just go on one of those module or packages this week, so today and tomorrow, we also could offer you the 1 hour free, even if you don't go with the catalog. So that's a nice little plus if you want to go through it. The goal here is, first of all, to simplify the fees for Optosys, but also to make sure that you use as much Optosys as possible, because there's so much value into using Optosys with all their modules, their web modules, and also to make sure that you have the proper information that you can use. So perfect. So do we have any questions on the packages in the chat?
I do have another question here. So the first one is, how do you save? Do you mean pay for the year in advance?
Those are monthlies. So no, it's you pay per month like you do right now. So you're going to receive your account statement every month, and those will be the prices. So instead of paying them individually, it's a package.
Sounds good. And I have another question here. So how do you add the CL catalog, so the contact lens catalog?
Very good. So it's always in the what's new section of your Optosys software that you'll be able not only to see everything that you can register to, but also all the news, like new updates, as we see here, version 43, available for you, but also all the other modules you can actually go onto. And yes, you can actually go where it says order and catalog and then you can sign up. So that module includes not only the Bausch & Lomb contact lens, but everything else. So if you wanted one of those ophthalmic lens supplier, of course, Bausch & Lomb, but also those frame suppliers, please put all the one that you want in there. So there's a fee of $49 just by itself if you don't take the packages. And then when you click on send, it will actually go into the process of being synchronized with your OSI account. And of course, one of our colleagues or maybe ourselves will call you to give you any insight and the videos on how to download, how to price, and how to order your products. Any other good questions, Marc-André, in the chat? Okay, I think you're not there anymore, Marc-André. So yes, so
very sorry about that. I was on mute, famous quote. So yeah, okay, so first question here. If you already have the boutique, do you need to register for the contact lens catalog?
No, just well, you just have to go onto the What's New and just fill out the same form, but with the information about the Bausch & Lomb that you want to have Bausch & Lomb. There'll be no extra fees, but it's just a way for us to know that we'll just add it to your list of available suppliers to download. And of course, somebody will once again call you just to make sure that you know that you have that new catalog and to show you how to download it and price it.
Sounds good. I have one more question for you here, and it is, how would the packages work if you already have parts of each packages you are paying for? Excellent question.
Then I would strongly recommend to go to the upper level package. So if you just have part of them, let's say you do have all of them, but you do have the boutique and recall, then I would actually take the elite because it gives you all top of that digital signage if you don't have it. So yes, it will actually be very economical because you'll have everything at once and you'll have that 5 hours of support per year included. So yeah, I will always go to the higher package because we don't want to remove any options for you. So of course you can always take a starter and add the boutique individually, but it comes down to the same price pretty much if you take the boutique à la carte and you lose that 3 hour difference of support. So I would go with the higher level one.
Makes sense. Thanks, Éric. And okay, two questions at once here. Okay, so if you have the Hoya Nikon, can you add frame companies? If so, what is the cost?
So it's the same $49 from now on as soon as you add something to your list. So if you already have the optical equipment, I would strongly recommend just to go there into the What's New section, and then you'll be able to see it, which one you want. So the Bausch & Lomb, the account number, same thing for the frame. And when you submit it, it will actually go directly in our process of activating that with our suppliers. Of course, there are suppliers we work with being part of OSI. And of course, it will enable the $49 fee on your next bill. So you can access all the suppliers that you have in those lists.
Perfect. And one more question for you here. So is there a price list for à la carte Optosys features rather than the packages?
It's still the same one, so yes, there is. So if you don't want to go ahead with the packages, you still have the old price list that we had. Those didn't change, so you'll still be able to use them. So if you wanted to have them à la carte, you still do that. It's just that something we added in 2021, those bundles, because it's just easier for people to understand, and also it makes you benefit from more modules for less, which is pretty much what we want you to use Optosys to its fullest as much as possible, because there's a lot of value once again into it. Do we have any other ones?
Perfect. So no other questions.
Okay, very good. So I hope that everything was clear. So I think now it might be the time, Marc-André, to let people ask question live if they wanted to.
Absolutely. So if you want to chat with us about anything we saw in the webinar today, you could ask your question by raising your hand. So if you look at your your webinar settings, you'll see a little hand that if you click on it, we will be able to give you access to talk to us, and we will activate your mic.
Exactly. So don't be shy. If you do have a complete question to ask and it was difficult for you to put that in writing, don't hesitate to raise your hand and Marc-André would unmute you. Please make sure you're also unmuted on your side, and then we'll be able to listen to your question and answer it to the best we can.
Perfect, and we'll answer a question that's in the text as well here. So is the $49 a monthly or one-time fee?
It's a monthly fee, so as long as you want to be able to use a catalog, you'll have to pay for that $49 a month. So it allows you to have all the catalogs, like I said, for optic lenses, contact lenses, and frames.
Perfect, thanks.
So yes, you can still continue asking questions by writing them into the question chat, or you can raise your hand.
Another question here. So,
Please.
okay, so if I want to update the lenses, but not order contact lenses, then would I not buy it 1 month and then cancel?
Yes, but you won't be able to benefit from the updates, because one of the big features of the catalog is not only to be able to download it once, but also to keep them updated. So every time Bosch and Lomb, SLR, Nikon, or even Luxottica have discontinued new products or new definitions, or let's say Luxottica, new colors available for frames, well, you'll be able to very, very easily update your catalog with all those new changes. Same thing for Nikon if they have a new price list. So either yes, you could actually just download it once and stop paying for it, but you won't be able to benefit from all the changes and all the updates. And there's a lot of products that you'll be able to download. So if you download all of them, updating that all yourself will be very long. So I wouldn't never advise you to do so, but it's something that's possible, but you're going to lose a little bit of the feature, however, if you do so.
Okay, perfect. So here's another question. So are the catalogs different from what they used to be? So where it created new products with new item numbers?
Yes, so when we download new contact lenses, new optic lenses, a new frame, it does create new product. However, we know that you have already a frame catalog, which is not part of those catalogs already. So those will create new product entirely. So we do have in Optosys a tool that allows you to match your existing inventory with the frames from your supplier's catalog. So by example, if you have Ray-Ban frames, like 100 of them, well, you'll be able to actually take your 100 frames from Ray-Ban and specify to Optosys which frame it corresponds into the list of Luxottica, and then Optosys will modify the item number into the new products, so you don't have to relabel your frames at all.
Perfect. Thanks, Eric. And that is it for the questions. Let me see if we got any raised hands. And there's no raised little hands.
Okay, well, that's fine. Anyway, as you know, you can always call the support line or send us an email. We'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. So we're here for that. So following that, you can also just ask us in a future webinar if you have any more questions. So if there's no raised hand or other questions, I would like to thank you all for your participation today. It was very interesting to get all your questions and comments. Hopefully you actually got some information also from your new version V43 of Optosys. So thanks a lot, everyone. Have a really nice day. It was very nice, and hopefully we'll see you in the next webinar. Bye-bye.